grab the mic?
Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to ISKCON of Round Rock for our Sunday program today. We're very, very excited to welcome Her Grace Prabhupada Priya Mataji to ISKCON of Round Rock for our Sunday program today. Prabhupada Priya Mataji is a renowned teacher and leader in ISKCON. She has been an educator for over 30 years. She is an author of 2 books, a course instructor for various Shastric studies across ISKCON. She's also an ISKCON zonal supervisor for Texas. Mataji has been here to our temple before, and the last time she was here, we were so inspired and amazed at her practical presentation of our Shastras. We still remember her class from Father's Day, talking about the various fathers that are there in Srimad Bhagavatam. And we're super excited that she's helping us kickstart the new year to help us reconnect and understand more about the mood and mission of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So please let us loudly chant the Hare Krishna Mantra to welcome Prabhupada Priya Mataji. I know there's just a few of us in the room, but it just takes a few to create a resounding thunder. So let us all, as loudly as possible, chant the Hare Krishna Mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you, Mataji.
Jai, thank you so much for the introduction. So we'll start with singing Jai Radha Madhava. This is a beautiful song describing Vrindavan Dham, written by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Prabhupada 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 Srila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. Jai. So, since we're speaking about Lord Caitanya, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu today. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I've chosen to read some verses from the Caitanya Charitamrita. And usually when we read from Caitanya Charitamrita, there's a specific invocation that we use. So we'll do that invocation. It goes like this. So please repeat after me. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda. Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai, thank you. So we're actually going to start from the very first verse of the first volume of the first Leela of the Caitanya Charitamrita. So this is Caitanya Charitamrita. This is a book that was written by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, who was a disciple of none other than Lord Nityananda, and he had the blessings of Krishna to write this book. So this book, Caitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya means Lord Chaitanya, and Charita means the character. Amrita means nectar, or something very sweet. Or also Amrita can mean eternal, right? Amrita, without death. So this is the beautiful book about the eternal and eternally sweet nectarian character or personality and pastimes of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So we're starting, the verses that I'll read are actually Krishnadas Kaviraj's introduction or invocation verses to Caitanya Charitamrita, but they're very instructive because they inform us who Lord Chaitanya is and what he came to do. Okay, so we'll be talking about that afterwards. So text one goes, Vande Guru Isha Bhaktan Isham. Oh, is it there? You have it there. Okay, good. So let's do that again. You can respond. Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan Isham Ishavatarakan Tat Prakasham Tat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Samgyakam. Translation: I offer my respectful obeisances unto the spiritual masters, the devotees of the Lord's incarnations, his plenary portions, his energies, and the primeval Lord himself, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Text 2. Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya Nityanando Sahodito Gododaye Pushpavanto Chitro Shando Tamonudo. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who are like the sun and the moon. They have arisen simultaneously on the horizon of Goda to dissipate the darkness of ignorance and thus wonderfully bestow benediction upon all. So now the next verse is the meter is different and the Sanskrit verses are quite long. So I'll just go straight to the English, okay? So text 3. What the Upanishads describe as the impersonal Brahman is but the effulgence of his body, and the Lord known as the Supersoul is but his localized plenary portion. Lord Chaitanya is the supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna himself, full with 6 opulences. He is the absolute truth, and no other truth is greater than or equal to him. So here it's established very clearly who Lord Chaitanya is, because this book is about the character and the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. So we need to know, who is this Lord Chaitanya? Who is this Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that we'll be learning about? So Krishnadas Kaviraj is telling us, he is Krishna himself. He is the supreme, absolute truth. And everything is contained within him. No one is greater than him. no one is equal to him. So he's not just an incarnation of the Lord, but he is the supreme original personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna himself, who has come in a different form, who's come in a disguised form as a devotee. So we're going to learn about that. Text 4. Now we have Krishnadas Kaviraj's blessing for all of us. So everyone listen and receive the blessing of Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. May the Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Sachi Devi, be transcendently situated in the innermost chambers of your heart. Resplendent with the radiance of molten gold, he has appeared in this age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation has ever offered before, the most sublime and radiant mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. So this is part of Lord Chaitanya's mission, that he came to bestow the highest form of devotion, the highest mood of loving Krishna upon us. People here in the most degraded age, the age of Kali Yuga. So, okay, text 5. The English translation is, the loving affairs of Sri Radha and Krishna are transcendental manifestations of the Lord's internal pleasure-giving potency. Although Radha and Krishna are one in their identity, they separated themselves eternally. Now these two transcendental identities have again united in the form of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. I bow down to him who has manifested himself with the sentiment and complexion of Srimati Radharani, although he is Krishna himself. So now we're learning a little more, we're learning some more nuances to the personality and the identity of Lord Chaitanya, that not only is he Krishna himself, but he's a combination, he's a combined form of Radha and Krishna. So, yeah, it's saying that Radha and Krishna are originally one, but they separate themselves eternally for the sake of pastimes. But now these two transcendental personalities have again united. They've come together, Radha and Krishna have come together in the form of Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. So he is Krishna, but he has the mood of Srimati Radharani. And he also has the color of Srimati Radharani, because Krishna his color is blackish, or like a dark bluish black, like a monsoon cloud. But Lord Chaitanya is golden. He has a golden, effulgent complexion like that of Srimati Radharani, and he has her mood. So we're going to talk about that in just a moment, about the mood of Lord Chaitanya, because I've been asked to speak about the mood and the mission of Lord Chaitanya. And then the last verse that we'll read for today here is text 6. English translation is, desiring to understand the glory of Radharani's love, the wonderful qualities in him that she alone relishes through her love, and the happiness she feels when she realizes the sweetness of his love, the Supreme Lord Hari, richly endowed with her emotions, appeared from the womb of Srimati Sachi Devi as the moon appeared from the ocean. So this verse is giving us a glimpse into the internal reasons as to why Lord Chaitanya appeared. So Lord Chaitanya, he came to this world with a mission, or many missions, multiple missions. He had multiple things that he wanted to accomplish. And one thing was that he came in Kali Yuga to perform the function of the Yuga avatar. So in every Yuga, there's a process of religion, and there's an incarnation that comes to establish that. The process of religion that's unique to the age is called the Yuga Dharma. Right? So there's an incarnation of the Lord, or an empowered Shakti Avesha avatar, who usually comes to teach the Yuga Dharma, to teach the process of religion, which should be practiced by people in that age to worship the Lord so that they can attain the highest spiritual perfection of life. So in the first age, Satya Yuga, the Yuga Dharma, the process of religion, was meditation, like meditation and austerities. And then in the next Yuga, which is Treta Yuga, the process was performing sacrifices, yagyas. And in the third Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, the process is to worship the deity in a very opulent way, like one would worship a king. So elaborate temple worship of the deity. And then in Kali Yuga, the Yuga Dharma is Harinam. Harinam Sankirtan, the chanting of the holy names of the Lord. So Lord Chaitanya came, this was his external purpose. His external purpose was to propagate the Yuga Dharma, to teach everybody to chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And so we can read throughout the whole Caitanya Charitamrita, the chanting of Hare Krishna is pervasive throughout the Lord's pastimes. That from even before his birth, he appeared on the day of a lunar eclipse, a full eclipse of the moon. And at those times, it's considered an inauspicious time in Vedic culture. So then people wanted to protect themselves from the inauspicious energy of that time. And so all the people of Navadvip, because Navadvip is along the banks of the Ganga in India, so they all went into the Ganga and they stood there up to their waist in the holy purifying waters. And they were chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, so that they would be immune to any bad effects of the eclipse. So it was right at that moment, at the time of the lunar eclipse, when the whole town of Navadvip was chanting the holy names, that Lord Chaitanya advented, that he took his birth from the womb of his mother, Sachi Devi. His father was Jagannath Mishra. They were exalted, respected Brahmins in the community there of Navadvip. And then when Lord Chaitanya was a little baby, because even though he's the Lord, when the Lord descends to this world, he goes through growth stages as an ordinary child would, even though he's not an ordinary child, but he exhibits this as part of his pastimes. So Lord Chaitanya as a baby, sometimes as babies do, he would cry, right? All babies cry. So this was his pastime, that he would cry, and he would keep on crying until all the women would come together and do kirtan. That was the only way they could stop him from crying. So every time he would cry, the ladies would be like, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And they would continue singing like that for him, very sweetly, the Hare Krishna mantra, until he would stop crying. And then they would go about their work, and then Lord Chaitanya would say, oh, these ladies are again getting into mundane consciousness. Wah! And again, they would all come running and do kirtan. So that way he was establishing the holy name even as a tiny little baby in the lap of his mother. Then later when he became a teacher, when he was just he was like a teenager. He wasn't even a full-grown man in the ordinary sense of the term, but he was still a youth. He was very good. He was very much into grammar and logic, and he became a teacher of Sanskrit grammar. And the way that all the examples, so when you're learning grammar, you'll get the rule. There's the grammatical rule for how to, the nouns and the verbs and the adjectives and how they all fit together. And then there'll always be an example, right? This is a sentence which exemplifies the rule. So he would give the principle, this is the grammatical principle, and then he would give the example, and the example was always something to do with Krishna. Always some, Krishna is like this, or seeing Radharani, Krishna would do this, or it was always something to do with Krishna, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's names were there in different ways. So he was getting all of his students to chant the names of Krishna by reciting the examples and composing examples like that. And then Lord Chaitanya, he took initiation from a spiritual master. So we're seeing him going through all these processes like an ordinary person, and this was part of his mission. Because although Lord Chaitanya, we were just hearing from Chaitanya here in the scripture, that Lord Chaitanya is none other than Krishna, the Supreme Lord, the Supreme Absolute Truth himself. But when he came in this form of Lord Chaitanya, he didn't present himself like that. He didn't inform people of his identity. He wanted to come in the form of a devotee of Krishna. And so he hid his divinity. He hid his identity as the Supreme Lord, and he pretended to be a devotee. And that was for the purpose of teaching the world, teaching all of us how to be a devotee in this age. So to set the example for everyone else, he took initiation from a spiritual master. His spiritual master's name was Ishvara Puri. And so when he went there, then his spiritual master gave him initiation and also gave him an instruction. And he instructed him that don't try to be over-intelligent. Everyone in Kali Yuga is foolish. and so the only thing to do in this age is to chant Hare Krishna. So don't try to be a Vedic scholar. Don't try to understand things in terms of logic and argument and philosophical debate. Just chant Hare Krishna. That's the process for God realization in this age. So then Lord Caitanya, he gave up his philosophy and all his nyaya, his logic and studies like that, and he just started chanting Hare Krishna. And because he was the Lord, and also because he was so pure and so devoted to the order of his spiritual master, when he chanted the holy names of the Lord, he would be overwhelmed with ecstatic love. And he would be exhibiting all kinds of ecstatic symptoms. So when he went back to Navadvip, because he traveled to a different place to take initiation, when he got back home to Navadvip and he started chanting Hare Krishna and exhibiting, tears would be flowing from his eyes, the hairs of his body would be standing on end, he would be trembling. All these physical symptoms of ecstasy would be manifesting in his transcendental form. And people were like, what happened to him? What's come over him? All he wants to do is sing and dance, chanting Hare Krishna, and exhibiting these signs of extreme love to the point of madness, transcendental madness. So, anyways, Lord Caitanya wasn't daunted by people's doubts about him, and he continued just chanting and dancing, and it was infectious, right? It was contagious. So everyone just started chanting Hare Krishna, and then he traveled. He went all over Navadvip, inaugurating the Sankirtan movement. Lord Nityananda joined him, and Gadadhar was there, and Srivas Thakur was there. The whole Panchatattva was there, and so many associates, eternal associates of Lord Caitanya took part, and they got the whole town of Navadvip to go out on Harinam, go out on the streets and chant loudly with musical instruments, with mridangas and kartals, chant very sweetly and very loudly, and in that way they inspired everyone who met them to chant the holy names of the Lord. So this was the Lord's mission. And then after that, he traveled all over India. He traveled all the way down to the tip of South India and all the way back up the other side. And that way and everywhere he went, people were inundated. They were overwhelmed with ecstatic love and by chanting the holy names. And then they went back to their places, they went back to their villages, and everyone who met them started chanting the holy names. And then those people would travel to other villages, and whoever met them started chanting the holy names. So in this way, the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra spread far and wide throughout India. So Lord Caitanya had this amazing mission, his external mission, to spread the holy names. And what was very distinctive about Lord Caitanya was his mood. As we said, he had the mood of Srimati Radharani, which was a mood of compassion. And so in distributing the holy names of the Lord, in distributing love for Krishna, he was very generous, right? It's Rupa Goswami, I think, composed this prayer, Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tushe Namaha. So he's called the Mahavadanyaya avatar. Namo Mahavadanyaya. So Vadanyaya means, Vadanya means magnanimous or generous. It means very freely giving, very generously, liberally giving to everyone. And what is he giving? Krishna Prema Pradayate. He's giving love for Krishna. So this is something that never happened before, that love for Krishna, love for the Lord, which is the highest perfection of life, which is the Prema Pumarta Mohan, the highest prayojana or goal of life, was distributed so freely. That when Krishna came, he exhibited his pastimes, his loving pastimes, his Vraj Leela, which are full of love, right? He exhibited his love for his mother and father in Vatsalya Bhav. He exhibited his love for his friends, the cowherd boys in Sakyaras. He exhibited his love for the gopis in Madhurya Ras, and he exhibited his love for his different servants in Dasya Ras, and even those who just from a distance admired him. He bestowed, all the trees and the stones and the rivers and even the inanimate objects of Raj with so much love that the stones would melt, the river Yamuna would stop flowing like this. So Krishna came and he exhibited so much love. Of course, in Vraj, all of the people there pretty much, and even all the inanimate so-called objects were actually devotees. They are all Krishna's eternal associates. So they were already imbued with love. And Krishna performed his pastimes. And one thing that we see in Vraj is that Krishna demanded full surrender, right? In order for the gopis to be with Krishna, they had to give up everything. They had to give up their family. They had to risk destroying their reputation in society. They had to break all the rules of social etiquette. They had to go to the forest in the middle of the night and go through all kinds of difficulties to go and meet Krishna. So it demanded full surrender. So this was Krishna. Krishna's mood was, yes, I'll give prema to you. I'll bestow the highest goal of life of Krishna prema to you if you surrender. Right? And he said that's the conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita too, that sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha yeshyami mahashuchaha. So he says, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender to me. So give up everything. Give up all your dharma. Forget about all the other rules. Forget about etiquette. Forget about, other religious principles and all these things that keep society peaceful and structured and organized, and throw that all away and just surrender to me and accept whatever comes with that, right? That's what Krishna asks. But when Lord Chaitanya comes, he doesn't make that demand. He just gives love of God freely. So it's said that in the same book, Caitanya Charitamrita, in Adi Lila, it says that when Krishna came, he brought the storehouse of love. And he exhibited the contents. He kind of like showed, like when you go to a store and you want to buy something, especially in India, where like in the West, you go into the store and you can kind of walk up and down the aisles and you can see what there is to buy, right? But in India, sometimes the stores are not like that. You go there and then everything is behind the desk and you say, I want this, and then he has to show you, right? He comes with all the boxes, he opens, he shows you all the things, and then out of what he shows you. So Krishna came and he showed the goods. He demonstrated the goods, and then he left. But when he left, he closed the door of the store, right? He pulled down that metal thing and he locked it. So the storehouse of love of God was sealed. And the only ones who could get access to it were those who fully surrendered. But when Lord Chaitanya came, it said that he went to that storehouse of love of God and he broke open the door and he plundered the contents. He took all the goods and he distributed them freely to everyone. So that was his mood of magnanimity, that generosity. Just give to everyone. Don't make any demands. No price, just free goods, right? And then another thing about him is that he was very inclusive, in the sense that he didn't consider whether the person was even qualified to receive it. So prior to that, someone had to be not only surrendered, but they had to be very knowledgeable, right? The Vedic wisdom was accessible only to highly exalted Brahmins in society. It wasn't available to, people of the lower castes, like the Vaishyas and Shudras, and what to speak of untouchables. They had no access to Vedic knowledge, or they weren't able to perform yagyas. They weren't able to even touch the scriptures, what to speak of, attend a class and learn them. So there were some sections of society that were barred, that were denied access to religious processes that would help them be able to attain the highest goal of life, the spiritual goals of life. But when Lord Chaitanya came, he was like, forget it, everybody's getting it, no one's unqualified. And when he was spreading the Hare Krishna mantra, which is a very exalted mantra, it's not just any like Vedic mantra, but it's the Maha mantra, right? It's considered to be, so there are some mantras that only the Brahmins chant, right? Like Gayatri mantra, it's a secret mantra that you have to have, done all these things, gone through spiritual initiation and proved yourself, and you have to show that you have all these Brahminical qualifications. Then only will the Guru whisper the Gayatri mantra in your ear and teach you how to chant it very silently and don't tell it to anyone. So a lot of the Vedic mantras were like that. They were the Brahmins had a monopoly on these mantras and a lot of the knowledge. So, but out of all the mantras, even the most secret mantras, the highest, the most exalted, confidential mantra is the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And it includes, it's the most potent of all mantras. It includes all other mantras. Any benefit that you can get from chanting other mantras, you get from chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. So that mantra was highly prized. And yet Lord Caitanya was going out in the street and he was broadcasting that mantra. He was just chanting that everyone could hear, and he was engaging everyone also. Come chant this mantra with us. Hear this mantra. Learn it. It's very simple. You can learn it and you can chant it. And come on, let's join the Sankirtan. Join the Sankirtan party. So people who were like untouchables, they were jumping in the Kirtan party and they were chanting Hare Krishna. And the Brahmins of Navadvip became very disturbed. They were very annoyed with Lord Caitanya. And they actually went to the government, the head of the government there in Navadvip district, the Chandkazi, and they complained. They filed a complaint. They said, this Caitanya is destroying the Hindu religion. He's corrupting everything because he's giving our secret mantras to untouchable people who are not qualified. He's making the whole thing cheap. He's contaminating it, and it's going to be ruined. So then the Chandkazi, he thought, oh, well, the Brahmins are complaining. I need to take action. And so he sent his men to go there and to stop the Sankirtan. So Lord Caitanya was out. Lord Caitanya wasn't with them that day. It was Lord Nityananda was there with all the other associates. And then the Kazi's men went there and they said, stop chanting, this is not allowed. And they smashed the mridangas, the clay mridangas. They broke the mridangas to pieces and they beat up the devotees. And they told them that if you ever do this again, you're going to be in big trouble by orders of the Kazi, of the Chandkazi. So then Lord Caitanya said, no one can stop. This is the Yuga Dharma. This is the process of religion for this age. I've come here to establish this, and I'm going to go there and confront the Kazi. So he got everybody. He mobilized all the people of Navadvip Dham, and they all went there to the door of Chandkazi. And well, this is a whole story, but yeah, it so happened that Chandkazi, the night before, he had a dream. He had a terrible dream, a terrible nightmare, in which Lord Nrsingadev, the half-man, half-lion incarnation of the Lord, pounced on him and took his sharp nails, the same nails that he tore apart the demon Hiranyakashipu with. Those same nails he sunk into the chest of Chandkazi, and he threatened him, if you ever again stop the Harinam, the Sankirtan, chanting of the holy names conducted by Lord Caitanya, then I am going to destroy you and your whole family and everyone associated with you. And then Chandkazi woke up like very afraid. And then his chest was hurting in the place where the nails had sunk in, and he looked, and he had scratch marks. It was like his chest was bleeding, where the nails had actually like pierced him, even outside of the dream. The marks were there. So he was very afraid. And then the next day when Lord Caitanya came with all of his associates, and they had thousands of people in this Harinam party, and they had torches, they had dandas, and they were singing very loudly. They came like with military force, Harinam. And then Chandkazi was just trying to hide. Finally, he had to come out. There was no other alternative. He had to, appear. And then Lord Caitanya saw that he was very disturbed. He was very emotional. So he calmed him down. He told the devotees to stop the kirtan. I'll just talk to him. So then he talked to him, and he philosophically convinced him of the benefit of the Harinam, and how the Harinam has to go on, and how this is the process for this age, and how he has to support it. Of course, Chankazi was already convinced by the threat of Lord Nrsingadev. So he said, yes, you have my blessings. And he made a public declaration that I will never stop the Harinam, the propagation of the chanting of the holy names, nor will any of my descendants for all time to come. That you have free reign, you have open permission from all of us to do Harinam. So in that way, the Harinam was established very solidly in Navadvip, and it spread like that. So the point here is that Lord Caitanya gave this very confidential, very highly prized, the most exalted mantra to even the lowest people. So that was his mood of not considering who's qualified and who's not qualified. And another way in which he was very inclusive was that he wanted the holy names to be spread not only in Navadvip, not only throughout India, but to every town and village of the world. Right? He wanted all over the world. And so Lord Caitanya, he spread it throughout India, but he didn't leave India. And who left the boundaries of India and spread the Hare Krishna mantra, fulfilling the mission and vision of Lord Caitanya, was Srila Prabhupada, our very own founder Acharya of ISKCON, that he accomplished the task. And he went to every continent, he went to hundreds of different countries and cities, and he and his followers went to places where he didn't go, and their followers continue going to places where they didn't go. And in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's vision is being fulfilled, that the holy names will be chanted in every town and village all over the world. And one time, a disciple of Srila Prabhupada asked him this question. He asked him, Prabhupada, if Lord Chaitanya wanted the holy names to be spread to every town and village all over the world, why didn't he do it? You know, we just heard, he's Krishna himself. He's the supreme personality of Godhead. He's all-knowing. He's all-powerful. He's all-pervasive. You know, why didn't he just do it? He didn't even have to go. He could have just made it happen by his desire, just by the strength of his sweet will. And then Srila Prabhupada said that he left that to me. He didn't do it because he wanted me to get the credit. So this is one of the sweet qualities of the Lord, is that he likes to see his devotees be glorified. So he empowered Srila Prabhupada to do it and to get the credit for doing it. So we're so indebted to Srila Prabhupada that he took that journey, that he left India, and he took that very difficult journey on the Jaladuta, on a steamship. It took him months to cross to go from Calcutta all the way over to New York. And he suffered 2 heart attacks on the way, and he came alone. He was 70 years old when he arrived there in the Boston Harbor, and then from there he went down to New York. And he was an old man. He was alone. He had no money. He didn't know anyone, but he had firm faith in the order of his spiritual master and in the vision, the mission of Lord Chaitanya, and in the process, in the power of chanting the holy names. And so he went to New York and he sat under a tree in Tompkins Square Park, and he had a pair of kartals, and all alone he just sat there and started chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And gradually people, they heard the sound and what's going on over there? Let's go and check it out. And some Americans came over and they saw this man, he looks like a holy person. He's chanting sounds like some ancient hymn or some mantra. And they sat down and they caught on and they started singing along. And then more people came, and soon there was a crowd. And then soon they started really getting into it, and they started dancing. And then so happened that they would follow Srila Prabhupada back, like the Pied Piper. Srila Prabhupada would be chanting and they'd be following him. And then they went back to his place where he had a center there on 26 Second Ave. And that way he was attracting the American public to Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement. And they were gradually becoming purified and learning from Srila Prabhupada, attending his Bhagavad Gita classes, and deciding and understanding that this is the duty of the soul. This is the duty of every soul, is in this age is to worship the Lord by the process of Harinam Sankirtan, and that Prabhupada was a capable person to guide them, to instruct them, to connect them to the Lord through this process. So that was Lord Chaitanya's mood. Every town and village, very liberal, very generous, all-inclusive. Don't leave anyone out. No one is barred. It doesn't matter what caste they are. It doesn't matter what any caste, creed, religion, gender, nationality, anything. It's for everyone. So another mood of Lord Chaitanya that we see is that he was ready to accept anything that was favorable for the achievement of his mission. So when Lord Chaitanya started teaching, when he was still a teacher in his youth, and he started chanting the names of Krishna and using examples of Krishna in his grammar lessons, then some of his students became a little challenging, and they became disrespectful towards him. They thought, what is this? Now everything is about Krishna? And then particularly one day they were walking by his room and they heard him chanting, Gopi, Gopi, Gopi. And they said, he's gone crazy. You know, he's not a qualified teacher. We should reject him. And so one of the students really confronted him and started blaspheming him and criticizing him right to his face. And Lord Chaitanya became angry. He said, who are you to criticize me? And he picked up a stick and he said, you get out of here. And so that student became angry. And then he thought, I'm going to get revenge. Look how he's reacted in this emotional way. You know, this is not the way a teacher should behave. And so he went back he rallied all of his friends, and they all went there, and they were kind of, expressing their grievances collectively to Lord Chaitanya. And then Lord Chaitanya said, okay, this isn't going to work, because I need to spread the holy names, and this is something very revolutionary. Society this is not going to be easy for, especially the Brahminical class, to accept, because these boys were all Brahmins. Even though Chandkazi gave his stamp of approval, but still, they're not convinced. So he said, I need to do something to make sure that they respect me enough that they'll listen to me, and they won't challenge me. I need to have authority. So then he went and took sannyas, but he didn't take at that age there were little or no Vaishnava sannyasis, because Vaishnavism had gone, it was practically lost. So he had to take sannyas from a Mayavadi sannyasi. Keshava Bharati was a Mayavadi sannyasi, because the Mayavadis were respected in that time. So he thought, well, everyone respects the Mayavadi sannyasis, I'll become a Mayavadi sannyasi. Not become one, but at least externally appear to be one. And then people will have to pay obeisances, right? Because it's a regulation, it's a rule according to Shastra, that when you see a sannyasi, you need to hit the floor. You need to pay obeisances. So everyone's going to have to bow to me, they're going to have to respect me, they're going to have to, make offerings to me, and in that way, and listen to me. And in that way, they'll have to accept my teachings. They can't cause a ruckus. They won't be causing a disturbance like this. So that was. So in this age, also, even we're trying to spread the holy names, and society in general doesn't really respect that. They don't respect devotees just going out on the street and singing Hare Krishna, right? And some people will think it's interesting. Some people will think it's, okay, this is nice. They're uplifting the mood. Other people are going to think these people are crazy, right? Some people might, shout some slanderous words even. So we need to do whatever we can to be respectable. So to be respectable in this age is we're not going to take sannyas from a Mayavadi sannyasi, right? Because Mayavadis don't rule society. Who rules society is, people who have positions of power, who have wealth, who are, professionals or celebrities. So, that's a strategy that we have to use in this day and age, in this part of Kali Yuga, is that we need to try to influence prominent people. Like that was Prabhupada's strategy. He always wanted to talk to important people in society, like government officials or different kinds of celebrities, like the Beatles, right? They got the Beatles on board in London, and the Beatles were like the most popular celebrities in the world at the time, and they did so much to help Srila Prabhupada spread the holy names, especially George Harrison. Prabhupada called him Shriman George Harrison. So, yeah. So even by, being professionals, by, having important positions in society, that makes us respectable. Or by being scholarly, by becoming Shastric scholars, by knowing the scriptures. So different ways, different people, according to the inclination, become respectable in society, have positions where we can be influencers, right? That's important. Or try to bring in people who are influencers to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement, and that will help. And another thing about, another mood of Lord Chaitanya is that he was very practical. And so he didn't tell people to do things that were impractical. He understood people's life situation, and he instructed them in Krishna consciousness in a way that worked, right? That just, it would be feasible. So one example of this is that he had a disciple, there was a devotee of Lord Chaitanya named Murari Gupta, and he was a doctor. So he didn't tell Murari Gupta, you need to leave your job and take sannyas. He told him that when you're treating your patients, then don't just treat the body, also treat the soul, right? So then he became Murari Gupta. He would be talking to his patients, and he would be hearing their complaints and giving them the diagnosis, giving them the prescription, and he would also be giving them the absolute truth, the holy name, and the philosophy, the teachings of Lord Chaitanya. And then there was another person, this Brahmin in South India named Kurma. So Lord Chaitanya, when he was traveling through South India, he met this Brahmin, and he invited him to his house. That was Lord Chaitanya's thing. He would always take prasadam in the house of a Brahmin. So Kurma Brahmin hosted Lord Chaitanya, served him prasadam with his own hands, and he was so taken by Lord Chaitanya, by his personality, by his character, by his effulgence, by all of his transcendental divine qualities, that he just fell in love with him, in a spiritual sense. And he said, "Dear Lord, I know that you're leaving this town in a few days. Please take me with you. Let me go with you." And Lord Chaitanya said, "Don't be crazy. You have a wife, you have children, you have a job, you have a career. You can't just leave." He said, "Don't talk like that." And instead he instructed him with this very famous verse. He said, "Yare deka tare kaha Krishna upadesh, amara agyaya gura haya tare desh," which means that Yare Deka, whoever you see, Tare Kaha Krishna Upadesh, talk to them about the teachings of Krishna, Krishna Upadesh. Tell them Krishna's instructions. In other words, share Krishna consciousness with them. And then he says, Amara Agyai, on my order, Guru Hai, become a guru. And in this way, Tara E Desh, deliver the land, deliver all the people in this land. So, Lord Chaitanya, he's not going to ask us to do something ridiculous. And so, most of you here are family people with children and careers and householders, right? So you don't have to leave everything and take sannyas. So in the early days of ISKCON, there was kind of a push in that direction, right? Just give up everything and take sannyas. But that wasn't Lord Chaitanya's teachings. He would say that to someone maybe who was a brahmachari or, like that. But he wouldn't say, the single person. But he wouldn't say that to a married person. In Kurma Brahman, he said, no, don't be crazy. Stay with your family and just chant Hare Krishna. Chant the holy names with your family, and whoever you meet, teach them to chant Hare Krishna. Have Bhagavad Gita discussions and readings in your home. Invite people from your neighborhood to come. Invite friends and other extended family members to hear Krishna's instructions, Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Offer some food to Krishna and distribute the prasadam. And in that way, everything will be perfect. He said, if you follow this instruction, your life at home will not obstruct your spiritual advancement, and you will never lose my company. In other words, he said that you don't have to come with me to be with me. If you just follow this instruction of practicing Krishna consciousness nicely at home, according to these principles, then I will be with you. I will be present there in your home. So that was very instructive. So those are some of the moods of Lord Chaitanya. And we talked about his mission, right? To spread the holy name, to propagate the Yuga Dharma. And there was another aspect of Lord Chaitanya's mission. And that is that we talked about how Krishna came and he exhibited his loving pastimes in Vraj, his beautiful Vraj Leela, in which he demonstrated the highest level of loving surrender, the highest level of pure devotional service. And yet after Krishna departed from this world, Krishna was observing, because he knows everything, he sees everything. He was observing the situation here in this world, and he was thinking, oh, I went there I exhibited through my Vrindavan pastimes, I exhibited all the different rasas, right? I showed how people can worship me with awe and reverence. I showed how people can worship me in dasyaras, in servitude, by being the servant and thinking of me as a master. I exhibited how devotees can worship me in friendship by treating me as their best friend and just being a kind, loving friend. I exhibited how people can worship me in vatsalya rasa by being my parents, by taking care of me, by protecting me, considering me their dear child. And I also exhibited how devotees can love me in madhurya ras, considering me their lover. So he said, but now that I've been gone, the higher rasas have somehow or other just sort of like disappeared. Nobody understands them anymore. Everyone's just worshiping me with awe and reverence. And he said if they only worship me in awe and reverence, they're not going to be able to come back to the highest realm of Goloka in the spiritual world, because in Goloka, the mood is not reverence. The mood is sweetness, like pure love in a mood of just sweet, simple sweetness. So he said, this awe and reverence is going to take them all to Vaikuntha. How's anyone going to come to Goloka? I need to come again. I need to come again, and I need to teach them, and I need to show them by my own example how to worship the Lord in these higher rasas. So, of course, we're not going to practice being gopis or cowherd boys or like that. So what does it mean to practice these higher rasas? So Lord Caitanya showed us. He showed us by his example, by chanting Hare Krishna, because that's the names of Radha and Krishna, right? Hare is the vocative form of Hara, which is another name for Srimati Radharani. And then we have Krishna, who is directly Krishna, the all-attractive Lord. And Rama means the reservoir of all pleasure, who is also Krishna, who is the source of all pleasure. Rameti Krishna, or Radha Raman, right? Means Radha and Krishna. So by meditating on Radha and Krishna, and by worshipping Lord Caitanya, who is Radha and Krishna combined. And the way to worship Lord Caitanya is in the mood of dasyaras, by chanting Hare Krishna. So these things are all, it's like a completely integrated package. That Lord Caitanya is Radha and Krishna combined. He gives us the names of Radha and Krishna, which are non-different from Radha and Krishna. So everything about being a follower of Lord Caitanya and worshipping him according to his instructions is totally Radha and Krishna. And then as we become more advanced in chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, then Radha and Krishna, by the mercy of Caitanya Mahaprabhu, reveal themselves to us more and more. And we can actually get a glimpse into Vrindavan life, and we can understand our eternal relationship with Radha and Krishna. So, and this is what Lord Caitanya came to demonstrate. He taught by his example, because Prabhupada says that, people in Kali Yuga are so dull, right, compared to other ages. As Shukadeva Goswami says that, Manda sumanda matayo, manda bhagya upadrita. In Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.10, that in this age of Kali, people are lazy, they're misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. So it's very hard for us to concentrate. We're very distracted. There's so many difficulties. We're always disturbed. We're always grappling with some problem, some drama, some crisis, right? And then we're lazy. Even if we're peaceful, we're too lazy to do anything. We'd rather just like sit in the reclining chair and watch TV or something, right? So it's very difficult. We're very dull. So Prabhupada says that when there's a student in a class who's a little slow to learn, say the teacher's trying to teach ABCs. So he's teaching how to write the letters. And the child is trying to write, but is not coming out properly. It's like messy. So then sometimes the teacher will take that student by the hand, and or the teacher will come and take the student's pencil and in their notebook show them, watch, it's like this. You make the letter A like this, and you come up, join them, and make a little thing down like this, and that's A. And then you do this, B. So it looks like the teacher has taken the position of the student, is holding the student's pencil, is writing the ABCs in the student's notebook, is doing what the student's supposed to be doing, but it's for the sake of showing them. It's for the sake of demonstrating, so that the child who's not able to get it can learn. So in that way, Lord Chaitanya came as a devotee, because Krishna was like, these people are too dull. If I just tell them, they're not going to get it. I need to show them. I need to personally demonstrate how to be a devotee. So then Lord Chaitanya demonstrates by his example, what we need to do. To chant Hare Krishna, to visit temples and worship the deities of Radha and Krishna, to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, right? Lord Chaitanya was always reading Srimad Bhagavatam, discussing Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, to associate with devotees. Lord Chaitanya was constantly surrounded by devotees, sometimes many devotees, sometimes just with intimate, confidential associates talking about Krishna consciousness. To visit the holy places, right? Lord Chaitanya traveled, and everywhere he went, he visited temples. He went to all the main holy places of India. So like that, these are the 5 potent processes of bhakti that Rupa Goswami teaches in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, right? Chanting the holy names, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, associating with devotees, worshipping the deity, and visiting holy places, especially Vrindavan Dham. And this all fit perfectly with Lord Chaitanya's internal mission, right? We read this verse that Lord Chaitanya, he had his own purpose in coming. Krishna had his secret mission in coming, that because in his interactions with Radharani and the gopis, he would see how Radharani would become so overwhelmed with love for him that she would just lose herself. She would faint. She would lose consciousness, and she would be exhibiting these intense feelings of ecstasy in separation from Krishna, and then meeting Krishna, and then separation from Krishna, and that impelled her to just give up everything, to forget about everything. And one time Krishna even said to Radharani, he said, your devotion to me, your love for me is so deep and so rich and so unlimited that I can't even repay you. What you've done for me is so much more than what I've done for you. You've given up everything. You've given up your family. I didn't give up Mother Yashoda and Nanda Baba. I still live with my parents. And you're a girl. For a girl to go to the forest in the dead of night, that's like so not what you do. That's so against the traditional culture. But I'm a boy. It's nothing for me to just go out and do something like that. So you've given up your reputation. You've given up things that I haven't given up. He said, there's no way that I can repay you. And Krishna would see how Radharani would react. Like when he would show up and she would see her, how her face would light up, how her eyes would brim with tears, how she would swoon, just seeing Krishna. And he would be like, what is it about me? I want to know, what is it about me that makes her react like that? And how does it feel for her to, how does she feel when she loves me, right? That was the great secret. How does she feel when she loves me? What is the happiness that she experiences and what are the qualities in me that invoke that love, that bring that love out of her? That's the one thing. Krishna knows everything. He controls everything, but there's one thing he doesn't know, and that's how his devotees feel by loving him. So he said, I need to come as a devotee and to understand that. So that's another reason. That's his internal reason why he came as a devotee. And that's also the internal reason why he came in the mood of Srimati Radharani. And it just so happened, of course it wasn't by chance, everything that Krishna does is perfect, but it just so happened that mood of Radharani was the perfect mood to spread Krishna consciousness to all of us. The compassion, the inclusiveness, the mercy of Srimati Radharani is just unexcelled. And then also the being a devotee, that Radharani is the best devotee. So when Lord Chaitanya came to teach us by showing us how to be a devotee, he didn't come as an ordinary devotee, he came as the best devotee in the mood of Srimati Radharani. So he had the mood of compassion. He had all the power of Krishna to deliver the world. Krishna could have delivered the world, but he didn't, because he demanded surrender. But Lord Chaitanya came with all the power of Krishna to deliver the world, and he did it because he was because of the compassion of Radharani. He was not. He just surpassed all the rules, and he just let everybody have free access. So this is Caitanya Mahaprabhu, the most magnanimous form of Krishna, the combined form of Radha and Krishna, and he is our worshipable deity in this age. He's the form of the Lord to be worshipped in this age of Kali, and the process of worshipping him is chanting Hare Krishna. And yet, so why is it that Gaura-Nitai are on the altar, but they're on the side? Radha and Krishna are in the center. So if Lord Chaitanya is the worshipable deity in this age of Kali, then why is he not front and center? Why is he not given most prominence? Because he instructed us to worship Radha and Krishna. So we worship him, and of course Lord Nityananda, his constant companion, but we follow his instructions in making our main worshipable deities Radha and Krishna. And then Lord Chaitanya is most satisfied. So we learn all this by the grace of Srila Prabhupada, who brought these teachings to us, who made that journey, who continued in the same mood of Lord Chaitanya, right, which is the mood of Radharani, inclusiveness, giving it to everyone, not considering who's qualified or unqualified, breaking open the storehouse and distributing the contents freely, even to people born in families of meat eaters who had no clue of Vedic culture, and he just invited everyone to come and chant Hare Krishna and worship Radha and Krishna, and that way he gave the whole world free tickets back to Goloka Vrindavan, just like Lord Chaitanya did. So we can never express enough gratitude to Srila Prabhupada, and that we, feeling that gratitude, we offer ourselves in service, in loving service, at his lotus feet. So I will end there and open it up for any questions or comments. Yes?
Hare Krishna, thank you so much for the wonderful relation.
Thank you.
So my question is, Lord Chaitanya, he has the extraordinary power, right? So while I will go back to the beginning of the story, while he was small, crying, and people around were able to understand the expectation that he wants to hear the chanting of Lord.
Mm-hmm.
So, but today, now in this Kali Yuga, we don't have that, but we set expectation. So how do we?
Wait, we don't have what?
We don't have the extraordinary power like Lord Chaitanya, right?
Right.
But we have the expectation.
Yeah.
We set expectations. So how do we work on that? Do you have?
Okay, so we're expecting that when we go out and chant Hare Krishna on the street or distribute books, that people are going to, yes, this is the thing, I'm going to join you, I'm going to do it.
Any form of expectation, that was in my mind, like expectation. The way, with his extraordinary power, that was possible, but we don't have that in Kali Yuga, like all of us, like ordinary people like us, but we set expectation.
Yeah, okay, I understand your question. Thank you. Good question.
Thank you.
So the thing is that we are not Lord Chaitanya, we're not Krishna, we're not God, but we can be empowered by Lord Chaitanya, right? This is the glory of the disciplic succession, that the mercy, that the empowerment of the Lord, it doesn't just stop with the Lord. He empowers, right? And we hear specifically how there are certain personalities that were very empowered, like Narottam Das Thakur. That there's a pastime where Lord Chaitanya, he went to a river, the river Padma, and he bathed in the river, and an amazing thing happened, that the waters of the river, these huge waves, the river turned golden, and these huge waves came up, and it overflooded its bank, and everything on the sides of the river Padma became temporarily golden. And the personified, the goddess Padma, because these holy rivers, they also have personified forms. she appeared because she was thinking, what's going on? What's happening? Something amazing's happening here. So she appeared, and Lord Caitanya told her that, please know that I have just deposited my ecstatic love for Krishna, my ecstatic love for the Lord here in this river. And in the future, one great personality will come, and he will bathe in this river. And I want you to bestow upon him. I want you to give him this love. See that by bathing, he is infused with this love, because I want him to be empowered to spread that love all over the place. And that personality was Narottam Das Thakur. So there was, he bathed in the Padma. This Padma River, I think, is in South India. And his complexion was a little darkish. And when he bathed in the Padma, his complexion, he turned golden, just like Lord Caitanya. And when he went home, his parents were like, what happened? And they noticed that from that time, he was different. You know, he was just very focused. He was always chanting. He was exhibiting all these symptoms of ecstasy. And then, eventually Narottam Das Thakur went to Vrindavan, and he met Jiva Goswami. He studied the Shastras under the tutelage of Jiva Goswami. And then when his education was finished, he went and he took the books of the Goswamis and he distributed them all over different parts of India, along with the Shamananda Pandit and who was the other one? Srinivasacharya. Yeah, they were the original book distributors. So they were empowered. And we can see also that Srila Prabhupada was empowered. Right? Bhaktivinoda Thakur was empowered. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur were empowered. Srila Prabhupada was empowered. And Prabhupada empowered his disciples. Because we can think, oh yeah, those acharyas, they're all nitya siddhas. They're not God, but they're nitya siddhas. They came down from the spiritual world with a mission to fulfill the Lord's mission. But, we're not that. We're just Kali Yuga specimens. We just took birth in some random family. And, we struggle with, all of our problems and pains and difficulties. But so did Srila Prabhupada's disciples, right? They all came from similar families or worse. A lot of them were just like hippies who had dropped out of school. They were addicted to drugs. They were doing all kinds of sinful activities. Some of them were just sleeping in Golden Gate Park in San Francisco, like homeless people under trees. And when it came to Prabhupada, then that empowerment, the Lord's power that comes down through disciplic succession, through the acharyas, Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, it continued. It went to his disciples, and they were able to go, right? Like his young, newly married disciples, his 3 couples that went to London all alone, right? Prabhupada didn't go until later. They went alone to a place where there was no temple. Nobody knew anything about Krishna. There were no books. They didn't even have books in those days, I don't think, not yet. And they just went there, and they had no money also. Prabhupada gave them some money just to get through customs, and they immediately wired it back to them. So they were just there. Just like Prabhupada, they didn't know anyone. They had no money. There was no temple. And they just started chanting Hare Krishna. They started going in the streets, chanting Hare Krishna every day, talking to people. Some of them were musicians, so they started going to bars. They were literally going to bars and chanting Hare Krishna on the stage there to try to... Yeah, and they met the Beatles, and then it all got rolling, and before you know it, they opened a temple there, and then they started doing Ratha Yatra, and then it was only after the Ratha Yatra actually that Prabhupada went. They just did all that, just the 3 of them, and 2 of them had a baby, like a 3-month-old baby, and still they did it. So that's empowerment. They were just in their 20s, and they had only been devotees for maybe like a year or less, maybe a year or 2 years. And so this is the Lord's empowerment. How can He can empower anyone, even you, even me, any of us sitting in this room. All we have to do is be willing. We just have to be willing to be the Lord's instruments. And He wants us to do that. So He wants the world to be inundated with Krishna consciousness. That's the prediction, that there's going to be a golden age of Krishna consciousness, that Bhakti Yoga, that Krishna consciousness, that Harinam Sankirtan is going to be the main process of religion in the world for the next 10,000 years. And it's just started. It started 500 years ago with the advent of Lord Caitanya, and it's going to continue to grow and grow and grow. And we need to be helpers in that, right? It's like in Caitanya Charitamrita, there's a section where Lord Caitanya is talking about how he's like a gardener. And he's planting the Bhakti Lata, the seed, the Bhakti Lata beach. He plants the seed of devotion, and then it grows, and it becomes like a tree, and it produces flowers of ecstasy, and it produces the fruit of love of God. And he's like a gardener that's picking the fruits of love of God and distributing them, and giving to everyone, eat. But he's saying there's so many fruits, and there's so many people that need these fruits. Alone, what can I do? How many people can I myself alone distribute to? I need all of you to help. Please come, pick up the fruits, eat them yourself, experience love of God, and distribute them to everyone else. So like that. So he wants us to do it. So anybody who's willing to, yes, give me a fruit. I want love of God, and I'm willing to share. Then he's going to give, and he's going to empower us to distribute widely. So don't worry. The power of the Lord is with all of us if we're willing to receive it and use it for his purpose. Jai.
Thank you so much, Prabhupada Priya Mataji, for that absolutely wonderful class. What an empowering resource. Thank you so much.
Shri Caitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Caitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaura Premanandi. Jai. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much again. Let's have another round of applause for that absolutely wonderful class. The next part of the program is Aarti. We request everyone to please rise for Aarti, and you can come closer to the altar if you like. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Perfect class.
Jai Prabhupada. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Srivasadi Gora Bhakta Vrinda Caitanya Nityananda Panchatattva Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktaveda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktaveda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Radha Kunj Vihari, Radhe Radhe, Radha Kunj Vihari. Jaya Radha Kunj Vihari, Radhe Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha. Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo. Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo. Nitai Gaur, Nitai Gaur. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo. Nitai Gaura Hari Bo. Jai Gaur Premanande, Prabhupada ki jai.
Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajikacharya Astotara Satashri Shrimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Purushottam Kshetra Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
नरसिंहा हृदये नरसिंहा नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपद्ये तव करकमलवरेण काम अद्भुतशृङ्गा दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गा केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय नरसिंहदेव 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 जय नरसिंहदेव जय प्रह्लाद महाराज प्रह्लाद महाराज प्रह्लाद महाराज जय प्रह्लाद महाराज जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव निताय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौरा हरि बोल नरसिंह भगवान की जय प्रहलाद महाराज की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की
Hare Krishna, everyone.